could we do it like we do it?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Wednesday. Okay, guys. So last night we got the finale episode of The Valley and the tweets that followed, or the X's. I don't even know what we just say like the X's now? Those damn X's. I feel like I've been saying that my whole life. Anyways, so we're back to talk about all of this with one of our favorites, Kim from Bravo Breaking News, who is always spilling her own tea on her own channels, which stick around to the end because I'm going to share exactly where you can find her. But in the meantime, if you guys have not, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And also, go ahead in the live chat and drop us a rating. Let us know. Actually, instead of a rating, let us know what finale you liked more, The Valley or Vanderpump Rules. I'm curious. Let's welcome Kim. Hello.
Hi, how dare you ask such a hard question? I don't know how to answer that, Adam. Do you have an answer?
To be honest with you, I kind of enjoyed The Valley more. I did, and I'll tell you why. The Valley, that was a real authentic moment, sort of like if you asked me once they picked up cameras during season 10 of Vanderpump Rules, which one season 10 finale after cameras picked up versus season 10 finale of, or season 1 finale of The Valley after cameras picked up, I would have chose season 10 of Vanderpump Rules. But this finale compared to what we got in the Ariana walkaway and the Lala being like, I've never seen someone get cheated on and become Beyonce or become God. Then I'm like, I'm leaning into The Valley.
Yeah, no, you make a good point, and I agree with you 100%. I am Team Valley finale.
Team Valley finale. Okay. All right. I'm curious to see what people are going to say. Kelsey Hurley. That's a great question. Can you get a bigger backlighting behind you? The new space always makes it seem like you are floating head with the black on black. It's arriving today. There are 2. I'm very grateful for it. And trust me, just stick with me there, friend, because this whole, I thought in my mind, I was like, a black studio is going to be sick. I wear all black. I need the whole back lit up. I'm going to do it. It's happening. We just got to get into the mode. We've been playing with lighting. We probably ordered like 5 different types and they're not exactly what I've been looking for. So just to give you like insight, it is coming. And thank you for asking and being patient with me.
Yes, it's a work in progress, aren't we all?
Whose line was that? Was that Ramona Singer's?
Probably. I mean, let's be real. Ramona's always a work in progress, but I can kind of relate.
I can kind of relate too. All right. So watching The Valley last night, we got a few difficult conversations, but I'm going to kind of jump around here through cast members instead of through like the sequence of events. But most shocking part to you from last night would be...
Oh, I mean, shocking. Oh, that last conversation between Jax and Brittany on the bed after cameras picked back up. I don't know if it was shocking, but my blood was absolutely boiling during that conversation. It struck me to my core, and it made me realize that, like, I think it's done. I think they're officially over.
Yeah. I kind of think that too after watching it and seeing her finally have the confidence to be able to call him out and be like, oh, so when did you sign up for therapy? Oh, yesterday. You signed up yet? Okay, so when the hammer's coming down, now you all of a sudden signed up for therapy. And then only find out in the confessional that he didn't follow through because it was too far of a drive and he just didn't want to. I'm like, man, talk about calling a spade a spade. She read your ass for filth because... really, the way that you treat people is filthy, to be honest with you. I've been around Jax for a long time, off and on. I have never been a fan of Jax's because I think that he is just super aggressive. And he also is just very erratic in like the way that he responds to people and treats people. And I've just never been a big fan of that because I feel like it's the same people that you're treating like garbage are the same people who are watching the shows, who are giving you this platform. And without this, you wouldn't be living in a $2 million home, running this bar, doing all of the things that you're doing. You would be bartending or maybe pursuing something else, probably at a much lower level, if I had to assume, because reality TV, if you have the longevity, you can make a lot of stupid money.
I mean, Jax literally does not deserve a single thing that he has right now. He has not worked hard for it. Yes, he makes good reality TV, but like at a certain point, you kind of want to watch like at least decent people on reality TV, and he is way below decent at this point. The therapy thing. The
Yeah.
fact that he didn't go because it was too far, and I am so glad that Brittany called him out. But the fact that they're having this conversation and he's like, "What else do you want me to do to change?" It's like, "Jax, you've done nothing. You've done absolutely nothing." And he feels like he's at his wit's end, that he's been like trying this whole time. Like, no, Jax, even we as the viewers can tell you've done seriously nothing. You've made Brittany leave the house with your son rather than you going and finding an Airbnb, which is, oof, don't even get me started on that.
Do you think that is it because it's a gender thing?
No, I think it's part of his narcissism. Like, he feels like he did nothing wrong, and it's almost like he's gaslighting her into ending it. So now he's the victim and he can play the victim, be like, "Brittany left me." You know what I mean? It's like it's his way of spinning the narrative. So he seems more innocent in all of it.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. No, but I mean, like, do you think that there were a lot of women who were watching thinking like, this is bullshit? Like, I've had to leave the house before. And like, I don't understand, if you're the one with all of these issues to work on and you're the one who's acting like this, why am I having to leave and uproot our son from his bedroom and his safe space to get away from you? Why would you not just make the conscious decision to be the one to exit? But I also feel like this is a very, it's reminiscent of like the Tom and Ariana thing. I mean, plus a kid, obviously, but like Tom was like, "Why should I have to leave? Well, why don't you leave?" And Ariana was like, "Why would I leave? I'm not the one who disrupted our home."
I know, it's eerily similar, and I almost wonder if Jax is like taking something out of Sandoval's playbook by like
Mm.
standing his ground and not doing it. I don't know. There's all this drama with Tom and Ariana's house now. Do we know that both Jax and Brittany own their house? Because I have a feeling it's probably going to be a similar thing. I don't see Jax like just leaving and letting it all go to Brittany. So I don't know. I think it's going to be messy. I think it's going to be real messy.
I believe Jax and Brittany bought their home 50-50 as well.
Okay.
Um, from my understanding, from what she said. But somebody just said, Shelly Greenleaf said, "Why is there no reunion?" This would have been a great reunion, you guys.
We need
This
it.
This would have been fantastic, especially, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but like, especially with him calling her out, being like, "Why don't you tell everybody who you've been running around with for the last 4 months," or however you worded it. Like, if they would have filmed a reunion, it would have been over the last like month and a half. So that information would have been out there anyways. And that probably would have been called out on the reunion. We missed a big opportunity here, a big opportunity.
And for Kristen to totally read Janet to filth, because we did not get that in the finale. I wanted Kristen to walk into Jax's. They were playing all this like suspenseful music, dun, dun, dun. She walks in, she's kind of like talking to everybody, telling the truth. But we didn't really see her and Janet hash it out. I need to see that. I needed to see that. Do you have any intel as to why we really didn't get a reunion?
I don't actually. No. And I personally don't think they did either. Unless, I mean, I've talked to a few of the Valley cast members. I think that they're great. Everyone who I have talked to so far, but nobody has given me that information. So I'd be lying if I said I did know. However, I think that it's missing the mark. But there was one moment last night that really drove me insane. And I'm probably going to get shit for it, you guys. But I feel like I just like, at this point, we're 4 years into this on YouTube. I think honesty is the best policy. And I just want to share how I feel.
Bring it on.
The Zach Wickham of it all with Janet drove me insane.
Okay, can you elaborate?
Yes. No, then let her go. What's your deal? And it's like, no, I don't care if she's pregnant. I'm like, one, the theatrics of the message that my dad always taught me this my whole life. When you're trying to deliver a message and sometimes you start screaming and being erratic or crazy, which I have the tendency to do, I have the ability to do as well in certain situations, your message gets lost. Now we're not even focusing on the message anymore because now we're focusing on this erratic behavior that people are like, you lost the conversation. And for Zach, when he's making these theatrical eyes and like the rolls of the eyes and then just like the pursing of the lips, like, I'm like, what are you doing, Zach? Like, I know that you're trying to give a moment. I'm sure producers told you this is the finale episode. You guys got to bring it. And I think that's exactly what he wanted to do. But I think targeting the pregnant girl was just a really garbage look for him. In my personal opinion, I did. But I feel like you don't agree with me. So go on, Kim. This is the best part. And by the way, I don't want everybody who we bring on here, guys, I don't want to always agree with everything because I think that's the best part is we're opening this up for a conversation and we're going to have different viewpoints. That's why we're talking about it, just to be fair. So go ahead, Kim.
That's the beauty of these shows, right? You pick sides and you kind of talk about it. But yeah, it was interesting. I kind of liked what Zach brought. I thought that he brought some drama to the finale that I don't know, we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Cause like I said, we didn't really get a whole lot from Kristen. So I don't know. I kind of loved that moment. Social media is saying this. I'm not saying this, but social media is saying that Janet has kind of like, weaponized her pregnancy. They said that about Lala too. So I don't know. I do feel like Janet does need to take some accountability here. We did see a lot of flashbacks where she was stirring the pot and, talking about everybody else and spreading rumors and like doing everything she could. Then again, that's kind of what's needed to fuel the fire on a reality show. So she's kind of doing her job there. But I don't know, this whole thing that it's basically boils down to Zach not getting invited to Big Bear. Please. I mean, we've seen it play out on social media that it's kind of maybe more than that now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's over something very small, but I'm kind of living for the theatrics and him saying, you are the Queen of England because you are dead to me. Like, I don't think he had that in his back pocket. I think he came out with that like in the moment. And honestly, kind of iconic.
I'll give him that one. But also, if in fact what she claimed he said about her pregnancy was true, then I would say that he would be, I would find him to be a disgusting person if in fact what he said was true. Now, I've been around Zach a few times over the last few years, and I would hope that he would never say something like that. And I didn't hear it. So I'm not going to say he said that. Right. It would be reckless of me to say that. But Janet could not be attacked as she was pregnant. Thank you for the super chat or for the members post. I agree that I think people were probably a little bit more nervous to attack her because she was pregnant. However, then going back over to the Zach Wickham of it all, like, then there was another moment that just drove me insane. Because I feel like what are we doing? He's like, did you see what I posted? The location, Big Bear. Did you see that I posted that? And I was just being petty. And I'm like, man, it's people like you. It's people like you that just irk the shit out of me. And it's true. And I can't hide that. That's just how I feel about it. I'm like, if I were on a show with somebody like you and you were pulling stuff like that, and my job was to call things out, you would be like enemy number one. I would gun for you. I would be like, I'm coming after you, Zach. Just because of like the little like the things that he pulls. I'm like, this is crazy to me. But again, I like Zach. I'm not on your show. I'm not on a show. So I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just saying as a viewer.
I'm with Kristen on this one. I think that was the perfect level of petty. I loved the drama that it caused. That little location tag on Instagram stories, the amount of drama that it ensued. And then Janet's like, oh, so you talked to Zach? Oh, so was he really in Big Bear? Like, she was so afraid that he was actually going to come to Big Bear. Like, girl, you got to know, like, he is just being petty. He's not going to come attack you in Big Bear. Like, I thought it was just, a signal of being like, look, I can play this game too. And again, I thought it was just like petty, fun drama. He was never going to go there and like infiltrate their trip. I don't think that was ever even like what he had in mind. He was just playing a little mind game, and it definitely worked.
It definitely worked. Yeah, he got you guys. He got you, Janet. He got you.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think about Jason stepping in on Janet's behalf when he was like, yeah, walk away. Walk away. And he was like, don't can talk to my wife like that. I was like, Jason, where did you come from? This is
I know.
we're
We haven't
into
seen
it.
that we haven't seen that side of him yet this season, but I'm so glad. I think that every husband should be defending their woman on this show across housewives, across everything, just in real life. A husband should defend their wife no matter what. So I loved that moment. I agree. I think Jason is one of the, I wouldn't say MVPs of the season, but let's just say he's definitely like probably the most level-headed of the
Yeah,
entire cast.
I think so too. I don't think that's saying a lot, but I think so too. All right. Now we go over to Danny, who wants to move to Valencia. Are you familiar?
Yeah, I mean, slightly. It's about like an hour or two away outside of LA. Yeah, it's not close. I'm not into it. I'm not into it.
And you could see her wheel spinning where she's like, we're filming this show. It could be successful. We're doing something right now. Why would we uproot our life? And like, this does not make sense. And he's like, listen, but I do like his ability. Even when he had his drunken moment, I didn't think he was a nasty drunk. I thought he was more of like a sassy drunk. I thought that he was in his feelings, but then you look at the guy and you're like, you got twins, you got these kids, you got this life, you're trying to figure out where you're going to live. You're also an actor, which is like being a real estate agent in the sense that you don't know when your next paycheck's coming in. There's a lot of unknown happening in his life right now. And I think that finally, I think it was the moment that Jesse looked at him and said, you're not a good actor. I think that's what made him be like, actually, no, I am. And then it's like, oh, there it goes. But then his wife is such a great support system. And I love the way that they can effectively communicate. I hope that Jax is wrong when Jax put out the thing saying, like, when somebody tweeted out saying that they were the perfect couple. And he's like, yeah, well, little do you guys know, but not to that. It wasn't verbatim what he said, but he alluded to there could be things going on behind the scenes. And I was like, oh, man, I hope that's not the case. But watching him and his wife on the show and how they communicate and how he's constantly telling her your feelings are valid. And listen, if this is not what you want, I'm going to fight for it because it's what I want. But ultimately, this is a group decision between you and I and what's best for our family. And I would love to hash this out with you. I'm like, that is like couple goals to be able to have these communications without one person getting in their feelings. Because I feel like a lot of times when you're in a relationship, people, you have one of the two, or if you're in a polyamorous relationship, one of the 3, 4, or 5, to each their own. You always have like somebody who is a little bit more stubborn and stern. And this is what I want. Why aren't you listening to me? Why don't you hear me? Why aren't you? It's always all about you. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to be that way, you know?
I mean, they could not be further away from Jax and Brittany. I mean, they are like the polar opposite. I loved that conversation that they had in Big Bear. I think it was last episode about after the night he got wasted, and was like, saying all that stuff. They handled it so well. She was so mature. He apologized. It was like that's how you should hash these things out, and I love it. I mean. But I do have to say, with 3 kids living in LA, that's not going to be easy. She wants to live in like Miracle Mile, West Hollywood. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to get the space for that. So, as far as like what makes sense for their family, of course, moving back into the suburbs makes sense, but maybe, I don't know, not as far as Valencia. So I see both sides. I think he's just thinking at it more rationally. But she, she's going through a lot of emotional stuff. She's, kind of not doing well mentally at this moment. So she needs that support system around her. And I get it. I get it. So I don't want them to leave the show. I want them to stay. I think they should just move to a bigger place in the valley.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like maybe Porter Ranch where Cynthia Bailey was.
Yeah,
substitute there.
anywhere but Valencia. I don't know why they have their sights set on Santa Clarita and Valencia. It makes 0 sense, but yeah,
And
I want them to stay on the show. I want Nia to stay happy and keep, building that support system and getting better. So I think they need to stay in the city.
And also, to be fair, I think that it's going to be a pain in the ass for him auditioning and stuff if he is going to go all the way to Valencia. So I think that listen, Danny, you tried it. You thought it was a good idea. You saw the home, the shiny objects, but it didn't make sense for this moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Now moving on over to Kristen, Doty, and Luke. Lala recently said on one of the after shows that Luke looks like Kristen's serial killer boyfriend. Jesus Christ. Where do we go, Kim?
I mean, a lot of other people say he also looks like Vincent van Gogh, which I definitely see that. Go look up the famous portrait of Vincent van Gogh and you will see the resemblance. I don't know. I can't get a read on Luke. Can you help me, Adam? Do you know Luke? Have you interacted with Luke? I'm still on the fence about him.
I actually wanted to pull up the photo of Vincent van Gogh because I was like, wait, does he look like Vincent van Gogh? Guys, I am sharing this right now with you. Kim is shady.
Yep. That's it.
You're like, that's the one. That's the
Luke.
guy.
I have to shout out Watch What Crappens. I think they actually pointed this out first, and then it just kind of spiraled on the internet, and I can't unsee it. It's just one of those things that you see, and now you can't unsee it. So you're welcome.
Yeah. Vicky Thomas said, let's talk about the poly rumors. Hot messy topics, guys, this Friday. Come and join us. The brothel rumors. Oif. Okay. Oof. Did you see those?
I did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully Kim's available because it sounds like we have a lot to talk about on Friday.
Yes, for sure.
I was also a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie, about two things. One, fans were kind of ripping into Luke because he was like, that's not just my girlfriend. That's going to be the mother of my child and my wife. And people were like, this comes off crazy. And I said, in my mind, Jason and I also kind of said the same thing, There were a lot of people when we first got together that said, like, this isn't going to last. You have a 10-year age gap. And I was like, no, I never want to get married. But if I ever get married, it's going to be with this person. And I knew for a long time. And I think that there's a level of confidence that comes with that. And I think that people thought we were crazy for saying that. But lo and behold, here we are today, 10 years later. By the way, guys, my 10-year anniversary is on Sunday.
Oh, wow. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
10 years. Holy shit.
That's a long time. That's especially a long time.
That's like dog years.
For sure.
Yeah. But I think that I didn't look at it as creepy. I felt like it was confident and I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of cute the way that he did that. And I think for her, she needs stability. She's one of those people who really thrives on having somebody be there to be a partner in her life. And some people need that. I know I certainly love having somebody in my life because I don't even know where I would be. I couldn't even imagine my life at this point without it. I know I would survive, but I couldn't imagine. And for her, I can see that she is sort of the same way. I'm not calling it a needy thing, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying with that. However, I do wish that we would have gotten more of her and she wouldn't have been ostracized from the cast this season, because that kind of pissed me off a little bit in the sense that I don't feel like cast members should be able to make these decisions to take somebody out of a filming situation. And I know that we have to make it organic and feel real, but I felt like the last episodes of The Valley, we didn't really get Kristen Doty.
Big mistake, huge mistake. We needed more of Kristen. I mean, she was killing it the first few episodes, and then all of a sudden we just kind of started getting less and less of her, and I'm not okay with that. We need more. We need Kristen back into the fold. I don't care whether she's getting along with Janet or not. We need to. It's like the same thing with Ariana. She shouldn't be the one ostracized. Kristen shouldn't be the one ostracized here. The group should be rallying around Kristen, not Janet, in my opinion. So right. I don't know. I think we need to see more of her. Like I said, I'm still on the fence about Luke. I hope they're endgame. But I don't know. I guess time will tell.
Time will tell. Vicky Thomas, so happy anniversary, Adam and Jason. Thank you. And happy anniversary, Jason. Where are you? Guys, I think that you'll get a cameo from him next week. He's been working a lot, but he's not gone, contrary to what anybody is saying. We still live together. We're still married. We're still here. And all's okay. He's literally 15 feet away from me right now. So now back into it. Then I wanted to move over to the Michelle and Jesse Lolly conversation, because that was also like, it was kind of a heartbreaking conversation because I feel like nobody wants to have those conversations. But then when she was like, I'm sorry, I don't necessarily have those same feelings for you anymore that I once had. And he's like, why don't you start every day by waking up and telling me how great I am? What a great partner I am. What a great husband I am. And I was like, damn it, Jesse. I was rooting for you. Now I just think you kind of sound like a little bit of a D-bag. Man. But then I can see his frustration because he's looking at her and he's like, we're hooking up. You're not staring at me. You have your eyes closed. Every time I come around, you're hiding your phone. The password's not the same. Okay. Then you're saying that all of a sudden, like I'm asking you, where's your ring? Oh, well, I forgot to put it on this morning. These are signs that would drive any partner insane. Any partner insane. Like if I went over to Jason and Jason all of a sudden went like this with his phone and was like, what? Like I'm on my phone. I'm doing, what do you need? I would be like, why are you turning your screen like that? Like you never do that. And you pick up on, I don't think it's an insecurity, like crazy thing. I think it's when you're with somebody for long enough, you know what their habits are. And then all of a sudden, when those habits start changing a little bit, your eyes are like, And then people start putting things in your ears, like your wife might be sneaking around. And then you're really like, thoughts.
So we've seen a lot of this play out where I guess Jesse is kind of playing the victim and Michelle is the bad guy. But what I want to know is what caused Michelle to start acting like this? Because when they have that girl sit down and Brittany kind of tells them what's going on, Michelle shares that basically she went through a similar thing with Jesse. Now, was Jesse as bad as Jax? Was he like kind of verbally abusive and like doing all this stuff? I just want to know like what brought them to this point, because the point that we're meeting them at is already at the end. They're done. She's done. He wants to try to make it work. He seems to be trying to kind of, take steps to get better, going to do ayahuasca or whatever. But I want to know what happened prior to this. I want to know what was the straw that broke the camel's back. I want to know, because I don't think that Jesse is as innocent as he's portraying himself to be. He's very much playing the victim mentality and trying to make it seem kind of like Jax, like, oh, you left me. Well, I don't know. There's got to be a reason. I guess she says that she's just not in love with him anymore. But is that it? Do you think that there's more to the story here?
I'm wondering if she had an emotional affair with someone where there all of a sudden came around, like this guy came around and he started kind of telling her the things that sometimes when you're in a relationship, like those things get lost, like you're so beautiful, or oh my God, you're so funny. And like the little things that somehow get lost, especially I'm not a parent, but I would imagine like through parenthood where it becomes a little bit less glamorous, like you're always dating each other and having the time of your life. And it becomes a little bit more serious because you're just stacked with all of these responsibilities. I'm thinking someone came into her life and started giving her those. Like, are they accolades? Is that how you say it?
Sure. Yeah. Affirmations.
Affirmations. Thank you, Kim. Thanks, Kim. I always,
anytime.
By the way, on here sometimes when I talk about things and I'm like, is it this? Am I saying this right? I'll see comments and they're like, you're so dumb. And I'm like, no, it's dumb for me to say it with conviction. Like I know what the hell I'm saying and not asking the question and educating myself on it.
No, don't feel bad. I'm a writer for a living and I still get words incorrect all of the time.
All the time. Listen, that's okay. But back to it. Shit. Where was it gonna? That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that she was getting affirmations, and that's probably what led to this. What is your theory?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think I don't know what Jesse has to take some responsibility though. He did something in order for her to kind of maybe stray that way, in my opinion. I don't know, but it is sad to watch, especially that they have a child involved and she's kind of old enough to, pick up on stuff. And I don't know. It's really, really sad to watch, but she is done. She is checked out. He seems like he kind of wants to draw it out. And he's like, I'm going to call a lawyer. I'm not signing this. And she's like, just sign it. I want it to be done. She wants literally nothing to do with him. And I don't know. I love that for her. She's like ready to move on and ready to get out of it. And I think she's been out of it mentally for a very long time. And she's been telling him over and over, like, I'm done. I don't even know if I have feelings for you anymore. And he's just like not getting it. He thinks that there's still a chance. Like, there hasn't been a chance for a very long time. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not picking sides here. I just think it was another relationship that wasn't meant to be, but it is really sad to see play out. And I also want to say one thing that the Valley has done really well. We are literally seeing a person in every stage of adult life. We have single people, we have people that are dating, we have people that are just gotten married and are pregnant, we have people that have kids, we have people that are getting divorced. Like, we are literally watching families and people in every stage of life like go through this and try to work it out. So maybe that's what they're talking about when like we're trying at adulting. I never really got that whole phrase or slogan they were trying, but it's interesting to see people at all these different stages kind of and how their lives are playing out.
No, I agree with that. I agree. This makes me so emotional and I don't even know why. Like, do I need hormones? Is something happening? Like, what is happening?
Yeah,
Bobby
it's
said,
tough.
remember the booty call that never happened. No, I do remember. But then also I was watching Jesse when Jesse was like, like there was another thing. I think when people tend to go through breakups and the one person who's like really like not wanting this to happen is the person who starts while still trying to fight for you. They're now starting to realize that they might have to be fighting you. So they have to switch it up. And then they start hurling insults. Like when Jesse was like, I was raised where I fight for my family. Like, I don't know how you were raised, or however he worded it. I was like, Jesse, you're not selling this. You're not selling it. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, I don't know. He irks me. He rubs me the wrong way. I don't there's something about like he just comes off so entitled. And like the things that he says to Michelle, like I just think there's something deeper. Like I just don't think that he's as innocent and like, maybe deserves to be forgiven as much as he thinks he does. I don't know. I want to dig into this relationship a little deeper. That's why
Yeah.
we need a reunion.
Yeah. That's why we need a reunion. Exactly. Okay, then let's go over real quick to Jasmine, who got put in a little bit of a predicament because she was trying to be a friend. She was trying to play Switzerland in this scenario where she is like, I am friends with Janet and I am also friends with Zach. And when Zach flipped out and Janet was trying to have a conversation with her, Jasmine didn't want to do the girl huddle thing and ostracize Zach. That's not what she wanted to do. And in that conversation, she really held her ground saying like, this is not fair to me. This is which really made me think of Dolores Catania on New Jersey. Cause I'm like, Dolores is always like being pulled like this, And I'm watching her and I'm like, it is and it isn't fair to you. Because they both have points. And you can see that they both have valid points. In this moment, they want you to choose a side. And I think that it's very adult like of her to be like, I don't have to choose a side. I love you guys both for different reasons. But then at that point, I guess if I were in Jasmine's position, and mind you, she's filming a TV show, so she does have to bring it, I would think that I would just go split my time and like hang out with. I've been in parties before where people don't like each other and I have to be on two separate sides of the room. And it's like, I feel like I put my hat on and I'm like, hey, Kim, how are you? Everything. Oh my God. How are the fur babies? And then all of a sudden I go to the other side and I'm like, guys, this is so crazy. hold on. I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire. You remember Mrs. Doubtfire when she's like running back
Yes.
and forth from the dinner tables?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, but I can do that. And Jasmine in this point of her life, in this moment, was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's giving Sheena, we've seen that, being like between two friends doesn't always pan out well. But to be honest, this situation is far less dramatic than what's going on with Tom and Ariana. I mean, the drama with Janet, like with the social media rumors aside, I'm just like talking about what's playing out on the show. The drama between Janet and Zach is not that big. It's not
Yeah.
that big. I don't think that Jasmine should have to choose a side. I think they're probably going to end up making up next season. So I don't know. I just think that please don't force Jasmine to choose a side. This is absolutely ridiculous.
And then also, I agree with you on that. And when they're in, I was just thinking about when they were in Jax's bar and watching Brittany put all of this stuff together, like when she was doing her wall and she brought his sister in to surprise him. And just like, these are all of the little things. Like, one of my favorite things, and Jason and I both do it for each other, but we love to surprise each other. Like when I first moved to New York and decided like, I'm going to tell the family that I'm gay at like 20 whatever years old. And I told them, Jason, for my birthday, he was like, I got to go. I'll be right back. And then he showed back up with my mom. And I was like, which was the best surprise ever. But like, it's like these little moments that really, when somebody goes out of the way, it just proves to you like how much they love you and how much like you're a thought. You're a thought in their head. And they're really trying to go out of their way to make something special happen, regardless if cameras are there or if they're not there. And then watching Brittany, you can tell that she was convinced and talked into this bar as, this will be good for our son. This will be good for our family. This is going to be great money, like that's going to be coming in. And it's another source of income. So she was sold on this. And I'm sure deep down inside, she knew this is probably not the best idea for Jax Taylor to own a bar. And I'm sure he sold her on, it's 2-3 nights a week. I'm going to be gone. I'm not going to come home messed up. Like, I'm not going to do anything. People know who I am. If God forbid, Brittany, you know me, like, look at how much I've grown. I've evolved. Like, if I cheated on you, you don't think everybody would be running to tell you? I could see like the mind F,
Oh,
and
it's master manipulation. Yeah.
Master manipulation. And then she was in it. And then she's like, you know what? Then I want to help design. I want to be a part of this. He made her feel a part of it. And then,
well, I know I have so many thoughts. First of all, I loved Zach's confessional when he's like, this has Brittany written all over it. This should not be Jax's. It should be Brittany's. And I'm like, hello. Yes, thank you. I think that something called Brittany's would actually have more longevity because we don't like Jax. I'm not like chomping at the bit to go to Jax's. Like maybe if Brittany and the girls are there, but I'm really not gonna go if Jax is there. And I just feel so bad. I mean, we heard it. She said it that, it kind of, spiraled out of control. He was going to the bar almost every night, coming home, getting hungover, and then getting really angry and like saying all of these horrible things to her. So of course it ruined their relationship. I mean, I could have seen this from a mile away, but I just want to know, question about the bar. So we heard them say earlier, they've invested their time, they've invested some other things, but I don't think that they invested any money in the bar. Am I mistaken?
You're not mistaken.
So how are they making money off the bar if they have no stake in the bar?
No, so they do have stake in the bar. I think they gave, okay, so to kind of break this down, when Sir Restaurant added Sir Lounge, right? Sir Restaurant was owned by Natalie and Guillermo. If I have this right, it was owned by Natalie and Guillermo. It used to be this tiny little, like, it was the who's who went there. Jason went there one time when he was in Cirque. He was like 22. He was sitting next to Britney Spears. Mariah Carey's been there. It was like big, but like hidden in a gym. Lisa Vanderpump would also go in there. She saw it and she got her hands on it. She noticed the street, and she's like, I want to be an investor. So then she ended up investing with her husband into that specific business. Then they opened Sir Lounge, right? Connected to that business. And they took 100% of Sir Lounge, I believe, and then paid Guillermo to run back and forth and gave him a salary for running back and forth through the two. So then they
Okay.
took over. Now, I think in this situation, since Jax's is an extension of Rocco's, whatever is made in there, it probably goes through separate POS systems. And I think they're giving him 50% of those sales in that specific part of the entirety of the restaurant. So just the Jax's part. I think they're giving him 50% in order to be the face, and then have so many times a week where he's obligated to show up, like contracted, where he goes, he shows face, he hosts nights, he posts on social media, guys, come see me at Jax's, which is driving in business. Because if I had to guess, I would just guess that the business owners, right, they didn't know what to do with the space. And a lot of people don't know this, but Jax used to have another company called Just Add X. It was called Jax. And it was like these like little drinks where it would be like,
that.
yeah, it would be like a mojito in a bottle. And then you would just pour it over whatever liquor you wanted, or like a margarita in the bottle and you pour it over tequila, and it was Just Add X. He was business partners with the Rocco's people and also Lance Bass on that. And Lance Bass has before partnered with the Rocco's people. So it's kind of like an incestuous like investment pool for them. And it doesn't,
Okay.
Yeah.
So he has history with these guys. Okay, that makes sense. I just wanted to clear it up, make sure they are making money because they should. But yeah, I mean, we could see this coming from a mile away. Like he's literally putting the sign up on the door with standing on the road with Schwartz being like, I hope this doesn't end in divorce. I'm going to be moving in with you soon. And I mean, 6 weeks later, it's like, could have all seen it coming.
We all saw it coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So now before we end up closing out of here, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts going into the new season? Because they're going to start filming at some point in this month. Like, what are the dynamics? And now that we know Lala's not joining the Valley, do you think we will see a new face?
I don't think we need to see a new face. You know, Alex Baskin did that interview, and I mean, I think we're good. I think we're golden. I mean, I think we maybe will be seeing some new faces if Michelle and Jesse's, new relationships, play out on the show, which I assume they will. So I think we're going to be seeing them, which should be very interesting. I think that they don't need to make any other cast changes. I'm glad that we're not seeing Pump Rules people move over to the Valley. I think maybe at some point later on, these, Lala and Sheena can maybe graduate. But at this point, I think we need to stay right where we are because it's perfect. But I just need more Kristen. I need more Kristen on my screens. I do want to see more of her and Luke, and I need her integrated back into the group. We do not need to be ostracizing this woman who has made us great reality TV for years upon years. That is the reason why a lot of us are watching this show. I can't keep watching Jax and Brittany, like the demise of their relationship. It's so dark. I need some lightness. I need some humor, and Kristen brings that. So
yeah,
I think we need more of her. I'm over the ostracizing.
I'm wondering if we'll see more of Jasmine's partner too. I think that, like you said, we'll have a switch up in scenery because Brittany's obviously going to be filming from an Airbnb. Jesse and Michelle are no longer together, switch of scenery. And then I'm trying to think, Jasmine bringing her partner in.
I think that would be a great call.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, we have season 2. Listen, just let Kim and I storyboard it for you. Here we go.
Yep.
But if they don't know Kim, as always, we love you so much. Thanks for joining us. If they don't know, we're going to start with your Instagram. Will you let them know?
Yes, check me out on Instagram at Bravo Breaking News. In case you guys missed it, I was also featured in the New York Times yesterday. I was interviewed talking about something about her. They did a little feature on me. It is actually on newsstands today, so I'm going to go get an actual newspaper.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so go to the New York Times and read the article. I have it on my Instagram as well. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. We're going to be covering the Summer House reunion, so stay tuned for that. And then I also just launched new merch on Etsy, just one product, and it is inspired by the one and only Katie Maloney. It's her choke quote. So go to bravobreakingnews.etsy.com to check that out.
bravobreakingnews.etsy.com. Woo! Okay. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead again, do all of the YouTube things, pop off, smash the like button, show some love. Thank you for watching Up and Adam Channel 1. I have more stuff coming on Up and Adam Channel 2 today, and of course the podcast, and it just never ends.
Never ends. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes. We love you, Kim, and hopefully we see you on Friday. And if not, then I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day and your weekend.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Bye.